What's going on, everybody? Good afternoon. Hope you guys are doing well. We're just sitting here waiting for this injury report to come out, trying to figure out who we're going to have and not have for this Washington game. Same for Washington. But before we get there, I do want to talk about something pretty cool that happened yesterday. I didn't get a chance to talk about this yesterday, but I do like to make little celebration videos whenever a Seahawks player does something really cool. And this definitely falls under that category. A Seahawks player has done something very cool and won NFC Offensive Player of the Month. That is Jaxon Smith-Njigba. If you follow the Seahawks on the internet, you probably have already heard about this, but this isn't something that happens all that often. This isn't Player of the Week. This is Player of the Month. That doesn't come all the time. So be right back. Back in 60 seconds. All right, guys, let's take a minute so I can tell you about Sleeper, a one-stop shop for all your sports needs. You can celebrate and chat on sports games in real time with other users. You can get the fastest scores, blazing fast sports news and sports alerts right at your fingertips. And of course, you can use Sleeper to play in fantasy leagues and win real money on picks contests. This is the way sports were meant to be enjoyed together. So download Sleeper today. Use promo code SBN to get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. And you can pair that with another promo they have right now where you can get a $20 entry free with no deposit required. So get both of those things going. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states and growing. So check out Sleeper today. Get to it and go have some fun with sports this year. Welcome back. So, yeah, NFC Offensive Player of the Month for JSN here. And the thing is, the Seahawks only played 3 games in October because of the bye week. So, in those 3 games, JSN had 24 catches. And by the way, he actually had exactly 8 catches in each of those 3 games. 417 receiving yards, and he had at least 123 receiving yards in all 3 of those games, and he had 1 touchdown in each of those 3 games. So that's consistency, that's explosiveness, that's everything you could want, right? This was not a situation where he had 18 catches in 1 game and the other 2 games he was whatever. No, this guy exploded in all the games he played. So much so that even with only 3 games played, they put him here. They gave him this monthly award. And I do want to take the time to call that out because that is something that is indeed very special. And I think we all understand that we're watching a pretty special season here with JSN. But in my experience, when you're watching something happen, you often don't realize how special it is until after it's over. Because I think your mind just kind of rationalizes that, like, well, I'm watching this thing happen, so it can't be that great. Like, if it was that great, it wouldn't be happening. But no, this season that we're watching from JSN right now really is that great. We are talking about some historic stuff here. And I mean, the fact that he could do this in 3 games and win the award against a bunch of players that played in 4 games in many cases, I mean, I don't know what else you need to hear to understand what's going on here, but if you do, this is a little bit of an older tweet from Brady Henderson, but what he lays down is that JSN is on an all-time pace here. Understand that through 7 games, this is as of the most recent data we have, JSN is on pace to not only break the franchise record for receiving yards in a season, he's on pace to do it with more than a month's worth of games to spare. He's on pace to break that DK Metcalf record from 2020 in game 12. He's on pace to break the all-time NFL record from Calvin Johnson of 1,964 yards in the final game of the year. Now, obviously, Calvin Johnson set the record with 16 games, so it won't be the same thing, but we've been playing 17 games a season for a few years now. Nobody else has done this. Like JSN is on pace to come up, what, 10 yards, 12 yards short of 2,000. We've had guys like Jamar Chase, guys like CeeDee Lamb, guys like, you could go back to, I guess, Prime Cooper Cup that year he won the Triple Crown. There have been opportunities for these elite, all-time elite receivers to have that 2,000-yard season, and it hasn't happened. It hasn't come that close to happening. So even though there's an extra game now, breaking the record would mean a heck of a lot. And do I think that JSN is going to do this? You would probably not, right? Because in order to do this, he'd have to not have any bad games in all likelihood. But when you look at the Seahawks team, they don't run the ball very effectively, and they don't have a lot of other high volume targets that they trust other than JSN. So this is actually more sustainable than you might think. So beyond that, like he's got 50 catches in 7 games as well. And you do the math there, the franchise record for catches in a season is 100. JSN's on pace to crush that. He's going to end up at this pace. You're talking about over 120 catches. And if he gets there, he destroys DK Metcalf. No, not DK Metcalf. Tyler Lockett's record. And his own record, by the way. JSN actually tied the record last year with 100 catches, I believe. So this is something that is pretty otherworldly right now. And definitely take the time as a Seahawks fan to appreciate it while it's happening. Because, again, I think that there is that desire as a football watcher or just a watcher of anything almost to assume that things that you're seeing happen are not that extraordinary because you're watching it happen. Like, if it was that extraordinary, then it wouldn't be happening. But no, this is one of those things that realistically you would never expect to happen in the real world. A player like JSN producing like he's literally the greatest receiver of all time. I mean, what are we doing here? Like, we understood that JSN was a good player coming out of college. He was a good prospect. But this was a guy who was supposed to mostly just be a slot receiver. This was a guy who only played in the slot in college. This was a guy who seemed to have some limitations coming out, didn't have great straight line speed, injury prone. There were some things going on here with JSN that were like, okay, he might be the best slot receiver in the NFL at some point, but that's about as high as it goes. And it's gone a lot higher than that. And it's been a real treat to watch and be a part of. So congratulations to JSN on winning NFC Offensive Player of the Month. I mean, look, if he chases down some of these all-time records, if he breaks the Calvin Johnson record, he'll probably win this award again before the season is done. But yeah, that's what I got. That's what I wanted to talk about here. See you guys a little bit later for more injury stuff. Go Hawks. And yeah, happy Friday.